So before going into pediatric contact lenses, there are some factors which we need to understand in terms of pediatric eyes. So one thing is the axial length. So the axial length uh, in a infants or in a toddlers, the axial length is smaller than the adults. So a baby with a newborn baby would be having a axial length about 17 mm, and by the age of 2 years or by the age of 3 4 years, the axial length reaches up to the normal axial length, that is about 24 mm. But for the first 6 months, the axial length ranges between 16 to 17 mm, then it progressively increases. Then corneal curvature is also, it's very steep in the children's, especially in the pediatrics. In the newborn babies or children's between 0 to 6 month of age, they would be having their K reading. Average K reading is about 50 to 51 diopter. That is quite high. Normal K reading in adults is about 44 diopter. Similarly, the corneal diameter is also less. A newborn baby would be having, or baby between 0 to 6 months would be having a corneal diameter of 11 mm or 10 mm. And by the age of 2 years to 4 years, it becomes the diameter reaches to the adult level, that is about 11.5 or 12 mm. And refractive power, we all know that in children's, they would be having hyperopic at the time of birth, and this hyperopic is very much understandable because the axial length is very small in the children's, and so that is one thing that contribute to that hyperopic error. And as the age progresses, this hyperopic number shifted towards the emmetropization. So while feeding children with the contact lenses, especially the pediatric patients, infants, so these are the some points that should be keep in mind, that their eyes is different from an adult eye. And that's why in a contact lens there would be a base curve as well as a diameter, two very important components. So since the cornea curvature is very steep, so you need a contact lens which base curve should be steep, and similarly the diameter would also be smaller than what we see in the adult patients. So that was important to understand before understanding more about the pediatric contact lenses. So that is what given in this table. So at the time of birth, the axial length, an average axial length is about 17 mm, and by the age of 1 year it reaches to 19. Then by the age of 3 years it reaches up to 21 and a half millimeter, and by the age of 5 years it reaches to 22 millimeter, and by 8 or 10 years of age it reaches up to 24 mm. Similarly, the corneal power means K reading is like it's very steep at birth between 0 to 6 months, and progressively the steepening becoming a little flatter side. So as you can see in the table, at the birth you can have a baby whose K reading, an average K reading, that is a normal baby would be having a 50 diopter. But by the age of 5 years or 3 years, it approximately matches with an adult normal K readings corneal power, that is about 44 diopter. And similarly, the refractive power, at the time of birth, you can expect a refractive error anywhere between +2 to +3 diopter. And as the age progresses, so this is leading towards the emmetropization, means this plus number is decreasing. So coming to the pediatric contact lens fitting. So pediatric contact lens fitting is different from an contact lens fitting in an adult. So there are some challenges in terms of children's are having different kind of activities than adults. So one of the challenges is that children sleep more. So it is so you need to give them a lens which they can wear at the time of sleep also. So that is one challenge. Other challenges are handling challenge, by putting lenses inside the eye and then taking out. Then the other fitting challenges would be getting an accurate refraction and K measurement. So, and also the biggest challenge is to convince the parents that this child needs contact lenses. And any pediatric contact lens fitting needs a very long-term involvement of a contact lens practitioner with the parents of the children, especially because children eyes grows very means the changes in the corneal curvature and the refractive power, it is very progressive. Since every 3 months or 6 months the corneal power would be changed, the refractive error would be changed. So it needs a long-term and continuous involvement of the parents as well as the practitioner. And if you're able to fit a contact lens successfully in the children, and if you are competent enough to fit a contact lens fitting or contact lens practice in the children, so that would be a very rewarding practice in terms when you are fitting a pediatric contact lens. Normally, it is a multiple collaborations. Means there would be ophthalmologist who would be involved there if it is a pediatric cataract, and after cataract there is a aphakia in your putting contact lens, or there is something else. Any children, especially the pediatric groups, very small babies who need children, they also having some other issues. So especially your practice also grow because you also come into contact with the different professionals, and you know them and they also know you, that you are doing this kind of a specialty practice. So yeah, you will consider as a someone who are above from the others normal optometrists because you're doing a specialty practice. So some of the area where we can think about giving contact lenses in the pediatric. So aphakia is the first and foremost indications for giving contact lenses in the children. So aphakia could be because of the trauma, it could be because of the congenital cataract. So there is a congenital cataract, and then the child has to be operated for the cataract. After cataract, if the child is very small, especially if child is less than 2 years of age, so normally in the ophthalmologist they do not want to put lenses IOL inside the eye because the eye is very small and there is not enough space to put IOL inside the eye, and the eye is also progressing. The eye is also changing its shape, its curvature, its exhaling. So normally they wait for 2 years. So, but they cannot leave that 2 year without any optical correction because that will lead to the amblyopia. So there the child needs any kind of optical correction, and contact lens is more suitable for that. Then any high refractive error, that could be myopia and hyperopia, that where also we can think about discussing or discuss contact lenses with the parents of the child. And then any unilateral ametropia and isometropia, and if there is a squint with very high refractive error and corneal irregularity. So there is no choice in corneal irregularity because the vision would be not better with the glasses. So there also child has to use contact lenses, especially RGB lenses. So what I am going mainly talk about the this first indication, the aphakia, because this is the first absolute indication. Means here is the situation when a children has operated for a cataract. So and the IOL could not be put it in the eye, then this child has to be given a spectacle or contact lenses. So there is a problem with spectacles in this kind of children because when there is aphakia, the refractive error is very high. That I will discuss in the further slides. So uncorrected aphakia in infants are one of the uh, causes or preventable blindness because of amblyopia. So we can aphakia could be congenital or developmental, or could be because of the traumatic, or because some vitreoretinal surgery, because sometimes if in some vitreoretinal surgery the lens has to be removed, or during the vitreoretinal surgery the lens For example, in the ROP, sometimes in ROP, so ROP does not cause aphakia, but sometimes in ROP, the refractive error is very high, especially the minus number. So there also you can think about the contact lenses. So option for correction, especially in the pediatric aphakia patients. So these are the options that we already know: glasses, IOL, and contact lenses. So let's discuss one by one. So advantages of spectacles are it's very cost effective, and changing correction or refractive power of glasses is very easy. Once a child is coming, you just have to do a refraction, then you can change the glasses number. It's very easy and cost effective if you compare from the IOL. Also from the contact lenses, it is cost effective, but uh, not very cost effective in terms of contact lenses. But spectacles have major problems. So one of the problem is the adaptation. Since these aphakic spectacles, especially in the children, they would be having a refract. So aphakia in the children, it does not only cause plus 10 diopter kind of refractive error that is in the adults. In the children, if the child is aphakia and eyeball is so small, eyeball size of 17 mm, so it is already short about 7 mm from the adult eyeball axial length. So that 7 mm itself leads up to 21 diopter kind of refractive error. And then there is aphakia. So they will usually would be having a newborn between 0 to 6 months of age. They usually would be having a refractive error about plus 30 or plus 34, 35 diopter. So if you're giving a glasses of plus 25 or plus 30 diopter, there would be a lot of aberrations in the glasses, and the glasses would be very heavy. And since the child's those children, small babies, they do not have nose bridge, and their face is also very small, and their facial physical features are not very strong, so they cannot support such a uh, high number in their face, because such high number lens would be thicker and it would be also heavier. So even if you are giving the spectacle in those patients, they will end up not using those lenses. uh, so that is one problem. Other problem is, of course, cosmetic would be problem. So most parent, they even uh, from the hospital, they have prescribed glasses. They do not want to put those glasses in their child face, because when they put on the child face, it and their child face appears the cosmetically, it not looks very good. So they do not want their child to wear those glasses. Only time they wear those glasses when they are coming in the hospital to show the doctor that yes, we are following, but actually they are not following the prescriptions. And of course, higher the number, more will be the aberrations. That is one thing we cannot control in the spectacle. and and especially in case of monocular aphakia. So if the children is having aphakia in only one eye, so suppose there is a unilateral cataract and that child has been operated, and so operated without IOL, so that and that aphakia is only unilateral. So there is no option. Even a spectacle is not an option there, because if you're giving a spectacle there, there would be a very high anisometropia. So unilateral or monocular aphakia, contact lens is the only option. Now coming to the intraocular lens. So some of the actually intraocular lenses are the choice of correction in the aphakia patient. So whenever a patient is operated for cataract, or is there any problem and where we cannot and because of that the lenses could not be there in natural crystalline lenses, and the eye is becoming aphakic. So the natural choice of correction is the intraocular lens. But since I have explained that in the children it is not always possible, so stable. So let's first discuss about the advantages. One of the advantages of intraocular lens is the refractive correction is very stable. Means since it is fit inside the eye, so refractive correction would be very stable. There would be no aberrations. So excellent optical performance because aberration is the lens less, and it is very Compliance would be very good when we are also giving the amblyopia therapy, because there is no additional lens that child has to put uh, over the patch eye. So like when you are giving the amblyopia therapy, we are asking one eye to patch, and over that, if the children is having any refractive error, they have to use glasses or other refractive correction mode. So here, if you put it already an intraocular lens, so amblyopia therapy would be more easier to do in those kind of eyes, and it is cost effective. So if you compare the cost of an intraocular lens from the contact lenses, because contact lenses have to change so frequently, so from that point of view, it is very cost effective, because it is only one time expenditure that parents have to do. But there are some serious problem with intraocular lens, not problem, limitations with intraocular lenses. So one thing is that if the child is less than 2 years of age, so even there are some surgeons, even in our hospital also, in some patients we put intraocular lenses even in 1 month baby. We have put it a lenses even in 3 weeks baby. Uh, but we cannot put in all eyes, especially if there is a unilateral kind of case. Or limitation is the alteration of refractive corrections. So as I told, that children's refractive error change very frequently, because the eye is continuous in changing. It's changing its curvature, it's changing its axial length. So there is a quite frequently alteration of refractive error. So it is not possible that once you have put it a plus 30 diopter intraocular lenses, and after 6 months the eye power has changed. So you cannot operate again and put a separate or secondary or another IOL. So that is one limitation that is in intraocular lenses. So other point is that, as I have explained, that if the child is less than 2 years of age, so most of the surgeon do not want to put IOL, because the eye size is very small. There is very less space inside the eye to put the intraocular lens, and as well as the eye is also changing its shape. So we really do not know how the lens is going to behave in that 2 years of time. And we also do not know the how the lens is going to behave, because when you're putting intraocular lenses inside eye, so normally what we do, we put intraocular lenses in adult patient who are already 50 or 60 years of age, and they might be living the next 30 or 40 years. But in the children, you're putting in a very small baby, and they have to live the whole life with these lenses. So even we are not very sure that those lens materials, how they are going to behave after 20 years or 25 years down the line. So that is one thing also. So if it is possible to delay the surgery, delaying their putting intraocular lenses, they normally prefer that. And then there is a lot of increased inflammatory response when you put an IOL. So you have to keep a posterior capsule intact so that it can support IOL. So if there is a posterior capsule, and in children, and this inflammatory response is more than adults, so you will see very early PCO formation, posterior capsular opacification formation in the children's. So best option in the children's, especially in the pediatric aphakia patients, are the contact lenses. So advantages are this. So if the surgeon has planned that they are going to leave the child eye as aphakia, so they remove whole lenses. That's why there's surgery called as a lensectomy. It is not called as a like ECC or ICC. They are doing lensectomy, means they are removing whole lens from the eye. So there is a no posterior capsule. So there is no chances of formation of posterior capsular opacification. So even the eye's refractive error, if the eye refractive error is changing, that will change in the children. So we can change the contact lens power, because since we are putting on the eye, so it is very easy to change. If you compare with the glasses, so contact lenses are having superior optical quality, because it is going to fit on the eye. And if the child is moving his eyes, the contact lenses will be also moving with his eyes. So every time the lens, so every time everywhere the child is looking, it will look through the lenses. So optical quality would be good. and it is only choice. You really cannot do in the unilateral aphakia in the children's. Contact lenses are the only choice. But there are limitation with the contact lenses also. One is the motivation. So motivation means not the child motivation. So the biggest problem in fitting contact lenses in the pediatric group is the parents. They are the one who worry or who fear most. Children, of course, they do not know anything. So parents' motivation or parents' understanding of the situation is very important. Second is the economic consideration, especially in the country like ours, where there is no insurance scheme for contact lenses. And so since pediatric contact lenses are costlier than the other contact lenses, and they have to change very frequently, sometimes in a month, sometimes 2 months. So every time they are changing or we are changing contact lenses, they have to pay for new lenses. And sometimes if somehow there is no chances of putting chances of IOL implantation later in life, so they have to have a lifetime dependency on the contact lenses. Handling is difficult, especially in very small babies. In fact, in a small babies handling is easier, but if the child is of the 2 or 3 years of age, then it becomes more difficult. Uh, but handling is a little bit difficult. But once they will learn, they can do it quite comfortably. And there is always a risk of a contact lens complication. And one of the severe complication is the risk of corneal infection. So what are the choices of contact lenses we do have? So RGP, soft, and still soft lenses. So I will discuss one by one. So RGB lenses, we all know the biggest advantage of RGB lenses is less complication because these lenses are having very high oxygen permeability. They are more durable if you compare with the RGB lenses, because since they attract less deposit, so RGB lenses can last for a longer duration of time, 1 year or sometimes more than 1 year also it can last. And then even you can fit in the cornea which are having astigmatism. So soft lenses will not mask the astigmatism, but RGB lenses can mask the astigmatism, especially if there is a pediatric aphakia because of the trauma. So there the cornea would be very irregular, so there your soft lenses would not be able to give a good vision. Then you have to consider or go for the RGB lenses. And designs, custom designs mean there is a lot of option. You can do a lot of modification in RGP, like yesterday also we have talked about. Then low cost, since these lenses can last for a longer duration, less complication, and the cost. And these lenses are really available locally, means there are a lot of Indian manufacturers or local manufacturers who are making these lenses. So these lenses are low cost when you compare with the soft lenses. The biggest limitation with the RGB lenses is comfort. We all know that RGB lenses are having this foreign body sensation in the eye. So sometimes the child is not able to tolerate these RGB lenses, especially if the child is of 2 or 3 years of age. Small babies, normally they do accept RGB lenses. They are small diameter. Then if you, I believe that you all have already seen RGB lenses. So they are very small in diameter when you compare with the soft lenses. So there are chances of lens loss, especially in the eye. So you put a contact lens in the eye, or sometimes parents will come to you and they will say that they are not able to, they put the lens inside the eye and then it will lost, it has lost. So actually what happened, it since the lens is very small, so sometimes go and is stuck inside the eyelid, superior tarsal conjunctiva. And sometimes it also pop out from the eye because the diameter is very small and lens very easily get lost. And of course we have to do with all kind of lenses, daily insertion and removal. Soft contact lenses are the most commonest mode of correction, uh, basically in the pediatric or in all age group. The biggest advantage are they are comfortable, Now there's contact lenses are available, hydrogel material, which can also offer very high decay. It is easy to fit soft contact lenses than RGP lenses, and they are also custom made available. Means custom means you can customize it according to the eye parameters, and the fitting is very stable because the diameter is large. Limitation is this: they cannot correct astigmatic number or irregular cornea. Handling difficulties in sense they are large in diameter, so putting and removing from the eyes is more difficult than compare with the RGP lenses. Since they are soft lenses, hydrogel lenses, they will be having water content as well as ionicity, so they will be having more deposit prone. And because of that, their age is very less. They will last hardly 1 month only. After 1 month, you have to change lenses, and that leads to the high cost, especially if you are using high decay lens material, high decay hydrogel lens material. So the cost is high than the normal contact lenses, and always there is a more complication from the soft contact lenses than hard contact lenses or RGP contact lenses. Still, soft lenses are very specialty soft lenses. So these lenses are especially made for only pediatric aphakia condition, and Boschelon made these lenses. It is not available in India still, although it has been launched in 1984. The one of the reason why it is not available in India, it is very costly lenses, and it is made from the silicon hydrogel material. So it's see the decay is very high. So one of the good thing about Sil soft lenses is that the child can sleep with these lenses since they are made up of silicon hydrogel material, and their decay is very high, so the child can sleep with these lenses. But the problem is that these lenses are very costly. One lens could cost around 15-16,000. So in India, and since in the children they have to change these lenses after every 1 month or 3 months, because the eye number would be changed after 2 months or after 1 month, so they have to change these lenses. So cost is the biggest limiting factor with these lenses, but it is available in the European Western countries, but in India it is not available still. So still soft lenses advantage is it is since decay is very high, so it is having both RGB, and since it is a soft lens, so it is having that comfort of soft lenses. Provides good visual acuity since it is made from the silicon hydrogel lenses, so it is a little stiffer, hard in nature than normal soft lenses. So since it is comes under soft lens category, so they are reasonable, comfortable, easy to handle, and ideal for extended wear. Extended wear means those lenses that you can sleep, uh, even wear those lenses at the time of sleep. Since children sleep a lot, so for them these lenses are kind of ideal. So limitation is the limited availability. As I told you that this is not available in India, and many countries it is not available. I don't think in any Asian country it is available. Mm, Poor surface wetting, since it is made from the silicon hydrogel lenses, so the surface wettability is not very good, and because of that sometimes it can cause suck down lens syndrome where the lens get stuck on the eye, and sometimes it also can cause the epithelial defect. They are fragile and expensive. So that was all about the contact lenses brief. So when to fit lenses, the big question is, suppose you have got a child where you a pediatric aphakia child and you have to fit a contact lens. So when to fit? So basically it depends upon the what kind of surgery has been done on that child. The reason for aphakia is the reason could be congenital cataract, could be trauma, or could be congenital aphakia. So if it is a aphakia because of the some surgery, so what kind of surgery? So normally these are the cataract surgery, 3 cataract surgery. So pars plana lensectomy or ICC is the cataract surgery of phacoemulsification. So normally if this procedure has been done, so you have to wait for 2 to 3 weeks to heal the wound. When do the surgery, we cut the sclera conjunctiva, so it require at least 3 weeks to heal. So once that will heal, then only you can start contact lens trial. So general rule is that more invasive the surgery, more you have to wait. For example, ICC normally they have a very large incision, so there you have to wait more before fitting contact lenses. It is always better to do a trial under anesthesia. Uh, so one of the advantages of doing trial under anesthesia is that uh, there is not uncooperation part from the child, and you can very accurately measure the refractive error. Also, you can very accurately measure the corneal diameter as well as the corneal K reading. So normally for the corneal K reading, we use auto K, manual auto refractive keratometer, and from the scale we can measure the HVID and we can do the refraction in the OT under anesthesia. But the major risk is that you are putting a child under anesthesia for a contact lens trial. So anesthesia normally we do not want to do unless it is very necessary. So there is both pros and cons of that. So if it can be done without anesthesia, so that would be better. So normally what we do at the time when normally after cataract surgery, the child has to go for the post-op examination, and sometimes there would be some suture and the surgeon have to remove those suture. So at the time they are planning to suture removal. So of course, when they are doing those suture removal or any under examination, eye examination post surgery, so they do under anesthesia though. So you plan your contact lens trial in a way that in the same visit where they are doing eye examination under anesthesia, you also should perform your contact lens trial. So these are the some range. So in any contact lens, these are the three dimensions you would be needing to order a final contact lenses. You would be needing a base curve, and then power, and then diameter. So base curve, how you'll get base curve? Base curve you'll get from the keratometer K reading. So normally we do autokeratometry. If somehow you cannot do autokeratometry or it is not available, so there is a lot of nomograms available. If the child is between 0 to 6 months of age, what base curve you should use. So if you can see here, it ranging between 7 to 7.86. It is very steep base curve. Normally in the soft contact lenses, you will get in an adult patient, the base curve would be between 8.2 to 8.6 or 8.7, 8.8. So all would be in 8. Here the base curve is in the 7, so it is a very steep base curve. Why the base curve is very steep? Because the cornea in these children are very steep. So as I have shown in the earlier tables, that cornea K reading is about 50 diopter if the child is between 0 to 6 months of age. So that's why you're seeing very steep base curve. And power anywhere, your contact lens power anywhere can ranges between plus 16 to plus 35 diopter, depending upon again age. More the younger the child, more would be you are having refractive error. And HVID could range between, so 0 to 6 months of age, you can expect a HVID of 10 mm. By the age of 2 years, the child would be having a HVID near to an adult, that is around 12 mm or 11.6 or 8 mm. So this is how an autokeratometer looks, handheld autokeratometer we say. So it's very easy to perform, nothing very hi-fi technique. You can very easily perform it. So once you did your K reading, then you will check the HVID, both thing. So sometimes this machine also give you the HVID measurement also. Then the second thing, you have to perform the refraction. So while performing refraction, the only thing you have to take care of, so when you are not putting trial frame in the face, normally when we are doing refraction in the children, whether you are doing in the anesthesia or without anesthesia, we do not put trial frame on the child face, because the child face could not support trial frame, because there is no nose bridge, their ears are also not very strong.
So we do without trial frame, and the problem with that without doing refraction without trial frame is that it's very easy to you put a lens with a very large vertex distance in front of the eye. So problem in these children are that their refractive error is very high. Even if you are doing 2 mm mistake in the vertex distance, so it will lead to a very significant change in the final refractive error estimation. So you should be very careful that your vertex distance should be very minimal while you're doing refraction. And when you're doing especially refraction under anesthesia where the child is in the sleeping position, supine position, so you might have maybe having some confusion is which one is the right eye and which one is the left eye, because in the supine position this is the straightforward position and this is the supine position, the eyes position change. So you also should be take care of that. You should be very sure that this error is for the right eye and this error is for the left eye. So this 2 point we should take care of. So this is the nomogram I was talking about, like 0 to 6 month corneal curvature could, for 0 to 6 months, you if you are not able to do perform keratometry, so this nomogram you can use. 0 to 6 month you can take comfortably a base curve of 7.5 mm. And if somehow you're not able to do refraction in these children's pediatric aphakia patient, you take a refractive error or contact lens power of plus 30 diopter. For 7 months to 1.5 year, you can take uh, base curve anywhere between 7.7 to 7.9. Your refractive error you can take around plus 26. And by the age of 3 years, the refractive error would be 18 diopter. So why it's happening? Because as the age progresses, the cornea is going to become more flatter and the eye axial length is also increasing. That's why you are seeing this flattening of the curvature as well as decreasing in the refractive error. So this is only to consider when you are not able to perform keratometry as well as retinoscopy. So once you have finalized all those